The throne hall of Dravari IX was a monument to excess and cruelty. Every inch of the room shimmered in polished bone and blood crystal extracted from conquered systems. The ceiling was a lattice of captive banners swaying gently in artificial gravity. Music hummed, dissonant and eerie, played on strings spun from silkworms fed on rare metals. At the center, seated on a jagged obsidian throne, sat Queen Zerinthar, 10 feet tall, crowned in gold-laced horns, cloaked in live cloth, tissue that pulsed and breathed like skin. She was the ruler of the Sundermoon Empire, and she had summoned a human. "Send him forward," she purred. The guards opened the chamber gate, and a single human entered. No armor, no weapons, just a crisp diplomatic uniform with creases so sharp they could slice. He walked with quiet confidence and carried a box. A beautiful box. Lieutenant Elias Cormac had the look of someone who'd seen too much and still didn't flinch. He had tired eyes, a scar at the corner of his mouth, and a reputation that trailed behind him like gun smoke. He bowed low. "Your Radiance," he said smoothly. "From the Terran Accord, a gift in honor of your eternal reign." Zerinthar narrowed her eyes. "Is it loyalty?" Elias looked up. "Better." He placed the box gently before her. It was no larger than a helmet, made of blue-black wood from a tree that only grew on Earth, in a region that hadn't existed for a century. Intricate silver filigree wrapped around the lid like veins. On top, engraved in fine lettering, "To Eternity, from the Unworthy." The Queen's attendants hissed approval. One coiled around the box and lifted it delicately, scanning it for explosives, poisons, transmitters. Nothing, just a gift. "You honor us," the Queen said, "and your Terran Accord." Elias met her gaze. "They bow. As you requested." She smiled. It wasn't warm. It was the smile of someone who had dismantled empires. "Then you may live to witness your world's new age, where loyalty is the only law." She raised a clawed hand. "Come, human. Drink with me beneath the banners of the Bent." She thought it was over, that her spectacle of power had worked, that the human had given in. She did not see the tiny flicker embedded within the filigree, barely a glint. She did not hear the silent ping that echoed through only one frequency, the one mapped to her throne's security beacon, and she definitely didn't notice that Elias never touched his drink. 17 hours earlier, aboard the Sable Mercy, EarthFleet infiltration vessel. "Are you absolutely sure this will work?" Captain Marin asked, arms folded tight. Elias opened the case again, showing her the core. It pulsed once, red, then black. "She wanted a symbol," Elias said, "so we gave her one." He tapped the top of the box. "Biometric lock activates once she touches it. 10 hours later, she gets her fireworks." Marin exhaled. "She'll scan it. She'll find nothing. She'll test you." Elias closed the case. "She'll find nothing there either." They both stared at the box in silence for a beat. "She burned 2 of our colonies," Marin said. "And wanted an apology," Elias muttered. He looked up. "She's getting one." Back in the throne hall, hours passed. Elias was dismissed to a chamber lined with gold, monitored, of course, no privacy, no escape. But he didn't need to escape. He just needed to wait. The gift sat at the Queen's side as she held court. She toyed with it during speeches, let visiting nobles admire its curves, praised human craftsmanship while mocking human cowardice. Every touch logged a biometric pulse. Every idle stroke shortened the timer. She paraded it like a trophy, and Elias sat in his cell with the faintest smile on his lips. 5 hours later, Dravari IX orbital station. A scout-class vessel drifted silently into the Queen's private docking bay. No weapons, no escort. From it emerged one figure, a woman, Commander Amira Voss of EarthFleet Strategic Response. No insignia, no medals, just purpose. She was never supposed to be here, but Elias had coded her name into the box's final handshake sequence, just in case. Inside the station, she approached the throne hall gates alone. Guards stopped her. She didn't fight. She just held up a datapad. Playback authorization code. Gift returned. The code bypassed their systems. The Queen had unknowingly authorized it when she touched the box. The guards stood aside. Inside, Amira walked into the chamber as Queen Zerinthar stood, surrounded by sycophants, drunk on power and prophecy. The human presence caused a hush. Zorinthar turned, amused. "I was not expecting more Terrans." Amira stared her down. "I came to collect the box." The Queen raised an eyebrow. "It was a gift." Amira nodded once. "So was what's inside." At that moment, a soft chime echoed from the throne platform. The Queen looked down. The box was glowing faint red, then black, then tick, tick. A sound far too soft to echo through the obsidian throne hall, but Queen Zorinthar heard it anyway. Her claws curled mid-air. Her smile faltered for the first time in a decade. "What is this?" she whispered. No one answered, because everyone else was staring at the box now glowing with a soft internal pulse. Faint red threads had emerged from its seams, tracing out unfamiliar patterns like veins across the ceremonial table beside the throne. Commander Amira Voss stood still, arms behind her back. Calm. "You asked for a symbol," she said. "So Earth sent you one." The Queen's eyes narrowed. "A bomb?" Amira tilted her head. "That's such a small word for it." Guards surged forward, but Amira held up one finger, and the sound in the room changed. Above, through the open skylight of the throne hall dome, dozens of lights blinked into visibility. Not stars, ships, EarthFleet carriers, unmarked, unscanned, cloaked until now. The Queen's voice cracked like metal. "You brought an invasion fleet." Amira didn't blink. "Number U summoned it." She took a step forward, her voice dropping low. "You demanded loyalty. What you got was response." Zorinthar hissed. "I will have your bones for this." "You can try," Amira said, "but you're on a 10-minute timer. And that gift you paraded around like a trinket? It's already spoken to every Terran relay, mapped every exit vector in this palace, and, just in case, triggered a dozen deep-core overrides beneath your central power column." One of the guards, wide-eyed and shaking, finally snapped out of it and turned to flee. The Queen's voice boomed, "Stand your ground!" But they didn't. One by one, the guards began backing away. They had all heard stories of what humans do when they look calm. Queen Zorinthar stood alone beside the box. Its glow was stronger now, red shifting to white, pulsing once every second like a heartbeat. "You have no idea what you've done," she spat. "You would annihilate a monarch in her own palace?" Amira took a breath. "No." She stepped one more pace forward. "We're not here to start wars. We're here to end the invitations to them." She tapped her badge. "All targets locked. Phase 2 in place." Zorinthar raised her chin. "You think I fear extinction?" Amira raised an eyebrow. "No." She gestured to the box. "That's not meant to destroy you. It's meant to erase the idea of you." The Queen lunged, too slow. By the time she reached the center platform, Amira was already at the exit. "Wait!" Zorinthar screeched. Amira paused at the threshold. The Queen pointed a trembling claw. "What kind of coward strikes in silence?" Amira turned slightly over her shoulder. "The kind that gave you 10 minutes to apologize first." And then she was gone. In orbit, EarthFleet Command Bridge, EFS Kylus, timestamp T-0341. Captain Rios stood beside the tactical officer. "All systems ready?" "Yes, sir. Gift signal is clean. Palace is isolated. Civilian sectors shielded as instructed. If the box hits Phase 3, we drop the lattice and pull extraction." Rios nodded, then smiled faintly. Commander Hartley would be proud of this one. Throne Hall, T-0258. Zorinthar had no plan, no countermeasure. The box was still pulsing, faster now. Her palace aides had abandoned her. Her throne's override system failed 3 times in a row. She activated a personal shield, then a second, then dropped both when she realized the box wasn't targeting her body. It was targeting her legacy. With one last, desperate move, she tried to shove the box away. It wouldn't budge. It had magnetized into the dais, wired into the very veins of her palace. It had become part of the throne. Her crown slipped sideways, and for the first time since she'd taken the throne, Queen Zorinthar looked small. Extraction shuttle, edge of the palace cliffs. Amira stepped into the open doors. Inside, Elias Cormac waited, bruised and still wearing ceremonial attire. He smirked. "How'd she like her gift?" Amira sat beside him. She asked if it was a bomb. Elias chuckled. "What did you say?" Amira replied flatly, "That bomb was the polite version of what Earth could have done." The shuttle lifted, T-00:20. Across the planet, every display linked to the Queen's throne lit up with the same message. "This is your final request for silence." The pulse went white. Then, nothing. No explosion, no shockwave. Just an expanding field of crackling light engulfing the throne room, erasing her communications grid, her royal AI, her command structure, her memory vaults, and every trace of her rule. The palace remained. But she didn't. No body, no scream, no relics, just absence. And far above, in orbit, EarthFleet broadcast one line across open frequencies. "Your loyalty was demanded. Your silence is accepted." The Sundermoon Empire fractured in a single cycle. No war, no speeches, no survivors of the throne's core. What remained was fear, not of human firepower, but of what wasn't fired. There was no crater, no ash, just the eerie emptiness where Queen Zerinthar had been. Her throne untouched, her crown melted across the edge of the gift box like a final fingerprint. Across 47 vassal systems, governors stared at palace broadcasts that no longer updated. No commands, no presence, no orders. And then came the second shock. Earth never claimed the throne. No military banners, no claim of conquest, just silence. That was the part that truly terrified them. In a scrambled emergency summit held in a neutral station above Arvan Halo, 12 former allies of the Sundermoon sat in tense orbit around the question no one wanted to ask. A blue-scaled diplomat named Ralik finally broke. "How long have the humans had weapons like this?" A war-worn Gorgari admiral clicked her mandibles slowly. "Since the day we taught them they needed them." Meanwhile, aboard the Sable Mercy, Elias Cormac stood at a console, hands tucked into the sleeves of a thermal jacket. The screen before him replayed the box's final telemetry ping. A white flash, a cascade of static, then nothing. Commander Amira Voss stepped in, coffee in hand. "Still watching it?" Elias didn't look away. "I designed it to be clean, but I still wanted to know what she saw at the end." Amira raised an eyebrow. "You think she saw anything?" He finally turned. "I hope she saw me." He stepped back from the screen. "She wanted loyalty through fear. We gave her clarity through silence." Amira sipped slowly. "That's going to scare the hell out of a lot of other empires." Elias nodded. "Good." Broadcast clip. EarthFleet Strategic Press Node. A calm, pre-recorded message played across trade channels and political forums. No music, no banners. Just a neutral Terran officer sitting before a black screen. Queen Zerinthar of the Sundermoon Empire declared her rule eternal and demanded the loyalty of Earth. Earth responded with a gesture of goodwill. What she chose to do with that gift determined the outcome. "We will not seek control of Sundermoon territories. We will not replace the Queen. But let it be known, if you attempt to trap us, silence us, or mock peace while planning conquest," the officer looked directly into the lens, "we don't send warships, we send a box and a timer." Within hours, 3 minor governments signed non-aggression treaties with Earth unprompted. A fourth began openly disbanding loyalty testing programs. In the ruins of the Sundermoon court, scavengers wandered the halls cautiously. They didn't find the Queen, but they did find one thing still active: the box. It was intact, dark now, its light gone. But etched into the side, beneath the silver filigree, a new phrase had appeared. This was mercy. News of the phrase spread faster than any military threat, because no one, not the Torkari, not the Faraxi, not the Council remnants, could agree on one thing: what would have happened if Earth hadn't held back? Back aboard Sable Mercy, Amira and Elias sat in a briefing with Fleet Admiral Marin. "The box worked," Marin said. "The Queen's erased, the Empire's shattered, and now half the quadrant's either terrified or overly impressed." Amira waited. Marin leaned forward. "They want you two to represent Earth at the next accord." Elias grimaced. "Diplomacy?" Marin smirked. "We broke a throne with a metaphor. Now they want to know if that metaphor has more boxes." Amira stood. "If we go, we don't go to threaten." Maran nodded. You go to remind them we never had to speak loudly in the first place. Elias adjusted his coat, then paused. You really think they'll believe us? Amira shrugged. Doesn't matter. They believe the box. Kaltarin Summit Station. 3 weeks later, the central spire of the summit gleamed like a dagger of glass and steel suspended in black. Kaltarin was once a war zone. Now it was neutral ground for the galaxy's most powerful species. No weapons, no fleets, no posturing. At least, that was the hope. The Sundermoon throne had fallen. Earth hadn't claimed it, and that scared the galaxy more than conquest ever could. Now, delegates from across the stars gathered to ask the question everyone danced around. What does Earth want now? Commander Amira Voss walked into the main assembly hall wearing civilian grey. No medals, no rank patches, just presence. Elias Cormac walked beside her, quietly placing a small black case at their assigned seat. Not a bomb, not a gift, just a reminder. The hall rippled with whispers. That's her. That's him. That's the box pair. A tall ambassador from the Krelith Combine stood abruptly. Earth has violated every known code of diplomacy. You deployed a micro-annihilation field under the guise of negotiation. Elias didn't move. He reached forward and gently tapped the case. It gave a soft click. Lights blinked. Gasps rippled through the chamber. Amira spoke before panic took hold. No detonation, just lights. Just a memory. She faced the room. You brought us to this summit to ask us what we want. Fine, here it is. She stepped forward. We want fewer empires built on fear. We want fewer leaders who wear obedience like a crown. And we want no more peace talks that begin with a trap door under the chair. Murmurs. The Gorgari admiral hissed from her section. So what will Earth do now? Threaten everyone who disagrees with a decorative coffin? Elias stepped up beside Amira, calm as ever. No. He placed his palm on the case. It opened. Inside, nothing but a shard of obsidian, shaped like a throne, cracked clean down the middle. Amira nodded toward it. This is not a threat. It's a mirror. The old Trinathi minister, blind and ancient, raised her voice with surprising clarity. You don't want power. Elias smiled faintly. We already have it. He let that sit. But that doesn't mean we want to use it. A long silence. And then came the second attempt. The subtle one. The delegate from the Praxen League, known for layered diplomacy, leaned forward. If Earth's goal is peace, perhaps we should discuss a permanent Earth oversight role for galactic security, control if necessary, a seat of authority. Translation: let Earth run things so they could be watched. Amira smiled. It wasn't warm. We didn't dissolve a throne just to build our own. She closed the case slowly. That box wasn't an invitation to rule. It was a reminder that no one gets to rule by fear anymore. The Praxen delegate pushed. Then how do we enforce peace, Earth? With sentiment, Elias answered. With consequence. Later, private chambers, Amira and Elias sat quietly, alone again. Outside the room, the summit continued. Inside, it was silent. Elias finally spoke. You think they'll actually change? Amira didn't answer right away. Then, no. But they'll hesitate now. And that was enough. Back on Earth, in a military lecture hall buried beneath the Rockies, a new slide entered training. It showed the obsidian throne broken in half. Beneath it, we didn't invent fear. We just made it clean. Across Sundermoon's successor states, statues of the Queen were pulled down. Not by Earth, by locals. In one city, a child placed a handmade replica of the black gift box beneath the broken base of a statue. It blinked twice, then stopped. The child smiled. He'd made it himself. Not as a weapon, as a warning. 7 weeks after the Queen's fall, the galaxy had calmed. No declarations of war, no new empires rising, just negotiations and nervous pauses, every conversation held with one eye on Earth. And Earth? Earth said nothing. No new demands, no treaties, no retaliations, which made the galaxy even more anxious. Until someone decided to test the silence. The Arashi Syndicate, a splinter group from the old Sundermoon territories, had risen quickly in the vacuum. Pirates turned politicians, slavers turned security consultants, and they needed a reputation, so they tried to bait Earth. They staged a fake distress call on the edge of Terran trade space, a colony in peril, unarmed, begging for help. When EarthFleet sent a recon craft, the Arashi ambushed it, destroyed the vessel, and broadcast the wreckage with one mocking message. One gift was enough. Send another, and we'll return the box, with pieces. It was loud, it was crude, and for 2 days, Earth said nothing. The Arashi leaders panicked on day 3, because they knew Earth wasn't debating, Earth wasn't hesitating, Earth was deciding, and by day 4, it wasn't just the Arashi sweating, it was the entire quadrant, because if Earth had responded instantly, people could have prepared for war. But this was the calm before something worse. The Arashi sent a second message: apology, denial, claims of rogue elements. Still, Earth remained quiet. And then on day 5, a message appeared. Not a fleet, not a weapon, just a box. Delivered to the Arashi capital's central square. Same design, same filigree, same engraving on top, to those who mistook our silence. The planet went into lockdown. Command staff evacuated. Civilian transports jammed exit lanes. No timer glowed, no signal ticked, just the box, sitting, waiting. On day 6, the Arashi leaders begged for dialogue. They opened every diplomatic channel. Earth replied once, a short message, 3 sentences. We heard your signal, we heard your silence, now hear ours. Then Earth vanished from their comm grid. Every EarthFleet vessel pulled back beyond long-range scans. No threats, no presence, no sound. And the Arashi fell apart on their own. Leaders turned on each other, planets defected, alliances crumbled. They dismantled their own regime in 6 days because of a box that never glowed, because they had learned the lesson late. Earth never bluffs. Sometimes it doesn't even need to strike. Later, Lunar Command, Earth Amira Voss, stood in the central observatory overlooking the EarthFleet Memorial Bay. Elias Cormac joined her with a datapad in hand. The Arashi fleet surrendered. No shots fired. They've even offered to scrap their own warships. Amira nodded once. They will. She looked out at Earth's sky. You see what we've done? Elias raised an eyebrow. One without firing? No, she said. We made the idea of firing enough. Final address, Galactic Accord Archives. A calm room, a seated woman, the same black suit, the same clipped tone. Amira's final message. We were told, once, that peace must be earned with blood, that power must be shown to be respected, that loyalty must be demanded. She tapped the table. But we gave the Queen a gift, and a timer. She used her time to gloat. She looked directly into the feed. We gave the galaxy silence and patience. You used it to guess what came next. She stood. We didn't invent justice. We just stopped waiting for someone else to enforce it. Then came her final line, the one now engraved across every summit hall, every council chamber, and every place that once dared to corner a human envoy. We gave you 10 minutes to change. You used 9 to panic and 1 to beg. Next time, start with listening.